I'm a serial entrepreneur in the sense that I get bored easy, and um, it's not that I have a hard time focusing. I enjoy focusing on things, but I'm all about evolving as a human being, as a business owner. And the question is what's next for me?
A glorious area in his presence is there.
What's up? What's up? What's up, community? What's up, Omar? Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah,
Really
man, it's
appreciate it.
massive thank you, and we're super grateful for you to take your time to do the session with us. Now, firstly, I need to say one thing is that your background, like with all the posters and specifically the good mythical poster behind you, is sick. It's really awesome. I'm loving it. Um,
Thank you. I
awesome,
think
man.
it's important to have a good space to create in, right? So this is my home office. Obviously, with all the quarantine stuff happening, you had to make we had to kind of evolve and create comfortable spaces for ourselves, right? So I got pretty intentional because I usually work out of my office. So yeah, I wanted to create a cool space. Got turntables over here, the couch,
Without
just
a
getting
doubt.
comfortable.
I think
Yeah.
it's always important to zone in, and hence that's why I start with all of our webinars to seriously just zone in and find that man. I mean, all of us need to have that man cave, or I don't want to be sexist, so women cave as well.
A cave.
The
We need a
cave,
cave.
just the cave. You need a cave to just completely zone in and get into your get into the mindset, right? Now,
Yeah.
Aaron, before we get into the real stuff, I want to, I want our audience to know a little bit about yourself. So, just in a nutshell, tell us a little bit about, who you are. What brought you towards being who you are today as a creative brand strategist or creative thinker in the business world, and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, your introduction is awesome. I mean, I could like you make me feel way more important than I am. But that's a man. There's a lot of unpacking there, right? Like, I mean, I discovered that I was an artist when I was really young, and I knew early on. I was like in junior high, and all the kids they were tasked with drawing a logo for our grade for our entire class, and there were about, I don't know, 20, 30 different submitted. Well, mine won, and then they printed it on the shirt, and something when I was really young just kind of clicked, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe I can make a career out of this. Like, maybe there's something that I'm just inherently good at when it comes to visual communication and just communication in general. And I like to think of myself as a as a really capable communicator. In fact, it's kind of what my next book is going to be about, is communication in a lot of different facets. But so I kind of discovered that early on, and I didn't really nurture that artistic creative bug as a career choice until I was about 21 years old. And that's when I started my first agency. And we were doing identity design, brand development, web design, things of that nature. And I was servicing the wrong kind of client. We had hundreds of clients, but they were all very small engagements. And I learned early on that I had become a slave to my business. That, it's not the lifestyle that I wanted, and the goals that I was trying to achieve did not fit in alignment with the business model that I had created. So I found somebody else who had a business model that could sustain 400 clients and 200 emails a day. And I sold my company to them. So that was the first agency that I kind of built, sold, and then moved on. But since then, yeah, I've developed three different agencies, two of which I've sold. And most recently, right before, kind of at the beginning of this year, I became really intentional on my consulting practice. Went very deep in on that. And then when the pandemic hit with COVID-19, I rethought and retooled everything. And that's when my co-founder and I, who's probably one of the most brilliant developers I've ever met, and I've worked with tons of them, him and I decided to start a SaaS product, a software as a service text message marketing platform, that we wrote our first line of code in March. And we've been kind of crushing it, going full steam ever since. We were recently funded by a handful of venture capitalists. So, we have a successfully funded startup, which is very new to me. Usually I start boots on the ground, low budgets, lean, and then you grow and scale up. This business has been a lot different for us because we had immediate product validation. there was a need and a demand because of the social distancing. So text message marketing is a great way to like communicate with a 98% chance that it will be delivered versus email marketing at 20% open rates. So we solved a very, very important problem, and we've created a business where I am independent. I do not have to deal with customer service. It's a plug and play software. So we've kind of evolved a little bit, but that doesn't mean that I've lost any of my personal brand authority that I've been building over the past decade, from being a best-selling author and from writing on large publications, being featured on Inc. All these different things that I've done. No one can ever take that away from me. But I no longer am a slave to my email like I was before. In that. So I think that although a lot of people struggled, we saw this as an opportunity, and it kind of retooled the way in which we thought about business. And we asked ourselves, like, is what we're doing pandemic proof? Because when COVID hit, my consulting clients, I lost about 80% of them because their business was so drastically affected by the social distancing, and just everyone's income is, everyone's just kind of holding on tight. But what I noticed is that all of my clients were still paying their marketing service bills. They were still paying Aweber, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, HubSpot. You can't stop paying those service fees just because something's going on and your business starts failing. So that's when we came up with the idea, and since then we've just been going a million. But that's the long answer to your question. The short answer is, I'm a serial entrepreneur in the sense that I get bored easy, and it's not that I have a hard time focusing. I enjoy focusing on things, but I'm all about evolving as a human being, as a business owner. And the question is what's next for me? Now that I've done this, what's next? And I'm always asking myself, what's next? And I like that because it keeps me learning. I'm always, in this beginner mindset. And it's more experience that I can add to my life. To me, it's about having a life experience first, having a business second, right? And those things kind of fall into play.